Hey everybody, this is Sainted with part 2 of the Anya, Wick, Epstein video. I clicked something and it, obviously made the screen go huge, ruining half the video, but that's okay. I wanted to actually talk a little bit about what she is talking about. And by the way, Sean Atwood is a fantastic researcher and citizen journalist himself. I followed him for years. It seems as though he's run into the same problems that most of the Anons have done, which we have been censored, blocked, and kicked off every single platform there ever was invented, known to man. So, Sean Atwood making a comeback, and his interview is sensational. Most of his work is really entertaining, and I wish and hope that he puts back some of the interviews that he's done in the past. They're sensational. Now, what Anya's done is she's exposed the underbelly of the Cabal, literally, where the children were raised in it and they were exposed to it. And she also states that Walt Disney is a direct relative. So the Epsteins were related to Walt Disney. This is significant. It shows a lot of things. Now, I could run down the rabbit hole of the Jeffrey Epstein boats from which makes even more sense now, from Walt Disney to the Epstein Island. That's significant in itself. I'd like to take a look at ship logs. There was an interview from a lady that I saw the other day about ships that people went missing from. Most of them are follow maritime law, and most of these missing peoples do not ever get reported. There's a reason for that. I believe that if we were to take a look at the Disney cruise ships, there would be a lot of children gone missing and people gone missing off those boats, more so than you think. That's a very good point that she brought up. Now, the Cabal itself is Satan worshippers. That's what they do. They worship Satan. And Satan's army, as it were, are all pedophiles. It's their thing. That's what they do. And what she's stating in this interview is exactly who the Cabal truly is. And she's showing you who they are, what they do, and the drugs that they use on children. This has been around. Alchemy, you name it. It's been around a long time. Now the people, and I've got a video and I can share it with you about the Khazarian Mafia, go back a long time. But those individuals are just up from the ancient city of Iraq and Persia, and the ancient city of where Gilgamesh and the Nephilim come from. It's not a figment of our imaginations. It's actually real. And in the WikiLeaks leaked papers, one of the staffers from Hillary Rodham Clinton is asking one of the DOD members, where is Gilgamesh's grave? Where's the body? And where's his resurrection chamber? And where's the other Nephilim? This is fact. So this gets very interesting, and we are about to find out a hell of a lot more.
If you say you've met somebody, there's no legal consequences of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to tell us who you've met, and the viewers can just imagine, what was happening. So with NordVPN, you can watch my Sons of Ecstasy documentary if you're in the UK, even though it's only available in America, using the Quick Connect. See, I've got it on my phone right here. Plus, as you know, I've been hacked. I've lost my YouTube channel multiple times. NordVPN protects you from multiple types of assault. You can become safer online with a single click. Stay safe from scams, phishing, and malware with Threat Protection Pro. Never stop with the fastest VPN on the market. Threat Protection Pro has protected hundreds of millions of people from attacks. Someone sent me an email pretending to be a sponsored ad, and I clicked on it and it was a phishing attack, and that's how I lost my channel. I wish I had Threat Protection Pro at that point. If the hackers have got your info on the dark web, Nord will monitor it for you and alert you. So you can get 4 months extra on a 2-year plan at nordvpn.com/Atwood, ATT-Wood. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/Atwood. Link is in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you for supporting our sponsor. Back to the podcast.
For your viewers across the pond, I do have fragments of memory of only once meeting the royals on the one trip I took with my family over to the UK, and it must have been 2005 or 2006. I can't remember if it was the summer I went into the 8th grade or into the 9th grade. I have met everyone who has been an American president in my lifetime, including Donald Trump, who I have to say looked like he was at a funeral when he was at the inauguration the second time around. I don't think he wanted any part of it. I have met the Kardashians, which is why I believe Kanye West has appeared to have gone off his rocker. I have met Harvey Weinstein. The same night, I met Jeffrey and Ghislaine, and he wouldn't make eye contact with me. He did not want to participate in the abuse of the small children. I believe that's a man who is behaving as most Hollywood producers do. Which doesn't make what he did with those actresses okay. But it looks to me like this is a man who was an easy scapegoat, who wanted to expose what takes place with children in the industry and with our family. There are a lot of people like that who have been vilified as, and while they are not innocent, it's like choose your evil. Jeffrey was not a hardcore. He was guilty for what he did to those teenagers. But my family ritualizes the of 3-year-olds, which Jeffrey was not privy to. My twin brother was raised on the Disney Channel. That was painful for me. We were separated when we were 4, and I didn't see him until he was on TV. With the pilot episode in which he pimps out his sister for a trading card. There's a sequence of shots where the words "Royal Tycoon" flash on screen, followed by a clip of the gross nerdy boy he tricks into going on a date with, plunging himself into a baby's crib. And he's been in the media for making trouble on sets and abusing his partners, and not saying his behavior is justified, but when you consider what someone like that goes through as a child and the separation issues that are put on them, it makes sense why abusive behavior is then repeated. And, I pray for him regularly. I am anxious to talk about my siblings because they are victims. I want them to feel that it is safe for them to speak up, but I don't want to feel like I am betraying them by naming them directly either. And I've already talked about on my TikTok channel I've talked a little bit about the last time I saw my mother. I was getting by Larry. You know, it sounds like a comedy line almost, and I've used it as a comedy line. I enjoy my stand-up. It's healing for me. But I decided before coming on here, I wasn't going to, with few exceptions, I didn't want to name anyone unless you asked me about them. I think there are a lot of people the public speculate on. And if you bring them up, I'm happy to talk about them. But
yeah, so I think the viewers would be very curious then about Jeffrey, and what's your view on his role in the apparatus?
My understanding is that I met him in Aspen in 2007, and that was a reintroduction. My father said, "Hey, remember your Uncle Jeffrey?" And Jeffrey said, "Hey, Anya, it's great to see you again." Ghislaine was there. What they told me was that Jeffrey worked for Stephen. And as I've said, he is guilty for what he did to those teenage girls here in New York City and down in Florida and St. Andrews. But I do not believe he was in charge of orchestrating what has been gone on in our family for generations. With my experiences, I believe he wanted to talk more about the other parties involved. And I know he didn't kill himself. I'm not sure whether they let him go and get plastic surgery and flee the country, or if they did kill him. But I do believe he was a pawn, and that his story blew up in the media to keep people from looking beyond him. If Jeffrey was the one villain in charge of it, then, he's dead, it's all over, everything's good now. And that leaves my father free to continue 3-year-olds and running Viacom from behind a veil while his paralegal runs his divorce practice, as he bragged about to me growing up.
So you're saying that Jeffrey wasn't involved in the full-on occult practices. He was just part of a machine, and then they just used him to make an example out of?
He was involved in the full-on occult practices, but not necessarily of his own volition. I have memories of men being forced to assault me when they didn't want to. I remember one man, this brilliant comedic actor, actually his better dramatic work. My father's screaming at him, telling him to penetrate me, and he makes one thrust and backs away, and my father gets outraged and says, "You're going to come. You're going to come." And this poor man is crying throughout it. And I'm barely conscious. Jeffrey may have been involved in the full-on occult practices, but he's not one of the hardcore of this sickness where they are actually attracted to small children.
Yeah, Lady C mentioned that as well about a hebephile or something versus. So, in terms of Maxwell, then, who do you think? What do you think her role was?
I think she enjoyed it, much like my stepmother did. I think she is as guilty of as Jeffrey was. But I didn't know her very well. I don't even remember a conversation with her. I remember seeing her. I think she got off on the power of it. I think with men who engage in hebephilia, it's more of a sickness that arises from their own abuse. Like my grandfather, my alleged grandfather, Walt's son, who worked for the CIA, allegedly faked his death to remove himself from my mother because he was so sickened by what he could not control doing to her. I contrast that with my stepmother, who delighted in abusing me and laughed at me when I was incapacitated by the drug they had me on and made fun of me drooling on myself, being unable to speak. I think with her and with Ghislaine, I'm certain they were abused as children themselves. But there's a different kind of psychopathy that grows within them where they get off on the power of it and abetting in these acts to please their partners. Now, Kari Epstein was more sexually attracted to me than she was to her husband, Stephen. But she did also do these things in order to stay in good graces with him. And that was more out of survival. Kari was a very broke cellist in her early adulthood with no familial support, whereas Ghislaine also comes from the aristocracy. She had access to her own funds independent of Jeffrey. So I can't speculate too much on what she gained from it out of psychopathic pleasure and sadism. A schadenfreude of sorts. But I'm not a doctor.
I wanted to bring the point up where she makes the